Everyone's in this race to build the biggest, fastest, most mind-blowing AI, right? But what if someone just decided to build one that was, well, correct? That's what we're going to dive into today. We're looking at a totally different way of thinking about AI through this system named Max. He's an intelligence built not to impress you, but to be safe, aligned, and, provably right. And really, that's the whole question, isn't it? The entire tech world is obsessed with these capabilities that feel like straight-up magic. But this approach, it's asking a totally different question. It's trading those flashy demos for something that's way, way rarer: rock-solid reliability and safety. It's a huge shift from just asking what can it do to what should it do.
All right, so let's meet this guy, Max. Now, the source material is super clear on this. Max is not a model like you'd think of with ChatGPT or Claude. Nope. He's described as a role-bound intelligence instance. What does that even mean? Well, think of it less like a giant all-purpose brain and more like a specialized, super-trained assistant. Like a master carpenter's favorite chisel. It does one thing and it does it perfectly. He's designed to live right on your computer, totally offline, with one single job: to help his human boss, the system architect, and to do it within some really, really strict rules.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting. To understand what Max is, we first have to talk about everything he's explicitly not. The best way to get your head around his design is to look at all the typical AI stuff he was built to, well, reject. And this isn't about him missing features. Oh no, this is all on purpose.
So first off, Max isn't some cloud service. He is 100% a local, offline assistant. What that means is he runs completely on your hardware, your machine. No data is getting zapped over to some company's server, and get this, he works perfectly even if the internet just goes away.
Second thing, Max is not an agent that just takes initiative and does stuff. He lives by this rule of human-first authority. He will never act on his own, he'll never try to guess what you want, and he'll never, ever expand the scope of a task you give him. Every single thing he does starts with a direct, explicit command from you.
And you know how some apps and AIs are always learning you in the background? Kind of creepy, right? Well, Max doesn't do that. He only remembers things when you give him explicit permission. So unlike all those systems that are constantly building a secret profile on you to predict what you'll do next, Max's memory is totally under your control. That means your privacy is protected, and it stops the AI from kind of drifting off course. This next one is absolutely crucial. Max is completely cut off from both execution and the web. He can't browse the internet, he can't fire off an email, he can't run a single line of code. He's a pure reasoning engine. That's it. And that separation is key because it makes it impossible for him to take some unintended action or get influenced by random, unvetted stuff from the internet.
And that right there, that quote just sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. All these things, the inability to act on his own, no internet, refusing to guess what you mean, those aren't bugs. That is the feature. Safety and correctness are literally designed into the system by taking things away. So, okay, let's talk about how all this restraint actually builds a really powerful and unique system. We're going to break down the 3 core principles that come out of this whole way of thinking.
First up is something called authority discipline, and it's really simple. You, the human, are in charge. Period. Always. If you give a command that's even a little bit unclear, Max just stops. He defaults to doing nothing. He's never going to try and guess what you meant or take a task one step further than you told him to.
Okay, number 2 is determinism. And honestly, this is a huge deal. Think about it like a calculator. 2 plus 2 is always 4. It's never going to be 4.001 tomorrow, right? Well, that's Max. The exact same input with the exact same context will always give you the exact same result. There are no weird hidden changes in the background, no model drift that makes other AIs so unpredictable. Max is reliable because he was built to be. And the third principle, local sovereignty. This one's about ownership. It means you own it. You control the whole system. Because it all runs on your computer, it will keep working even if the company that built it goes out of business tomorrow. It's a tool that is truly 100% yours forever.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, with all these don'ts, what can an AI like Max actually do? Well, it turns out that this super focused design unlocks a really specific and powerful set of skills. So let's check out what's in his toolkit. Max's main job is all about high-level reasoning. He's a rock star at systems thinking, at analyzing constraints, and at really laying out the pros and cons of any decision.
He's basically built to answer that crucial question. Why should we do it this way and not that way? He's there to help you think more clearly about really complex problems. And this all leads to a really unique way of designing complex stuff together with him. The whole philosophy is build the blueprint first. You build the scaffolding for the building. You lay down the train tracks before you run the train. You design everything so it's off by default. It's all about separating the idea of the system from the action of the system. And that is just a fundamentally safer way to build anything. So, at the end of the day, Max becomes your local intelligence backbone. But he's not the one making the decisions, right? He's your thinking partner, your architectural mirror. He's even kind of like your design conscience. He's the tool that makes your own decisions better, clearer, stronger, and way more intentional.
So, what's the big picture here? What's the payoff for taking this completely different approach? Let's zoom out a bit, because the benefits are both practical for your day-to-day work and, honestly, kind of deep and philosophical too. On a practical level, a design like this helps you stop that model drift we talked about, catch potential risks way earlier, and just keep clear lines of who's in charge. But on the philosophical side, it does something even bigger. It keeps the human at the center of everything. It pushes back against that temptation to just optimize for the sake of optimizing. It makes sure that meaning always comes before action.
And that really gets us to the mission statement at the heart of this whole thing. Why does Max exist? For one simple, powerful reason: to make sure the system never outruns the human. It's a direct answer to that nagging fear a lot of us have, that our own tech could spin out of our control.
I mean, this one sentence from the source just says it all, doesn't it? His real strength isn't in what he can do. It's in his discipline. It's in his absolute refusal to grab any power that you haven't explicitly and intentionally handed to him.
And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. In this world that is just racing headfirst for more and more powerful AI, could it be that the greatest strength we can build into these things is just knowing when to stop?